but for 2007 there were 8,530 some people in families that were homeless in Iowa. There was another 9,700, I believe, individuals that were homeless in Iowa for 2007. If you add those numbers together, you've got the population of a mid-sized town in Iowa, such as, let's say, Indianola or Winterset. So that's a lot of people when you think about it that were actually homeless, and these are all unique people, not counted twice.
St. Joseph's is our family emergency shelter, and we serve homeless populations here. We have room for 5 families, and we provide them a place where they can come together and live as a family unit. And by that I mean we don't separate the family out. We can have the whole unit. It can be mother, father, children. It can include a grandparent. But whoever comes to us, we try to keep them together.
We try to supply any need that guests would have while they're here so that they could save any resources they have for when they leave the shelter to help them get set up in whatever kind of place they go to from here. We try to make the shelter as welcoming and safe feeling as possible so that the children as well as the adults feel comfortable and safe here.
They give you the help that you need, they point you in the right direction, and hook you up with the right people to actually help you get out of this situation. And they don't make you feel like you're the scum of the earth just because you're homeless. Like with us, it took me a little while. I was too proud to admit the whole situation, and my wife said, look, we have 3 kids that we have to worry about, and let's go. Let's just get this done. And
it's the best, fastest way to a fresh start.
Yeah.
We all know it is good structure that kids feel safe, and more times than not, it's hard for us to have families leave, and it's hard for families to leave.
You know, every day is different here because it's always new. We can't assume anything about a family.
I'm 38 years old. Never found myself in a situation like this before, but I ended up in the hospital and I was real sick and had to take off work, and that's all it took to basically put us in this situation. Used to working like all the time.
No one was providing an operation like this that kept the entire family together. So we have licensed social workers here who can provide counseling. We have adoption and pregnancy counseling services if those services are needed. We have a food pantry, so when families come to the shelter, if they need clothing, the food pantry contains a clothes closet, so they can go there to get clothing. So we have an immigration service, we have a refugee service, so we use all the other services within Catholic Charities as needed.
But he was just in and out of the hospital so many times that they couldn't put up with it.
Affected the work situation.
Yeah.
We're just job searching, and I've got an interview in Storm Lake next week. I've got an interview in Colorado next week. I just can't find a job here. Everybody's been really nice. It reminds me of the Ronald McDonald House. We had to stay there for a little while when he was sick. So he was in the intensive care for 2 weeks.
The main goal, of course, is to stabilize them into more permanent housing. I think once families split up, if they have to split up to go to different shelters, it's not only more of a devastation to the family, but it's tough for them to get back together. Our program is emergency shelter. It's the safety net for when people are out on the streets or living in their car. In 03-04, we were turning away an average 35 families per month. Last year, that rose up to 62 families per month.
One way that we fund the services provided at St. Joseph Emergency Family Shelter is through our annual No Room at the Inn fundraising and awareness event. And we take this time as an opportunity to educate people about homelessness right here in our community.
Your wife is...
Yeah, she went to Craig, Colorado. She went out there for a job interview, and they rented her a car, and they rented her a motel room, and they're paying for everything. She met with a realtor first thing this morning, and they took her out looking at houses.
Oh, wow.
And they paid for her flight out there and back too, so that's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Well, the phone always rings, and we are turning away families all the time. We had to vets with their families. We had African American families. We had majority of white people. Iowa's majority white. We had babies. We had teenagers. We had people that had college, people that were working, people who were from another state. So we had just a real cross-section of why people are homeless. People say, what's the single most reason? Well, there are several reasons. But I would say that the biggest reason always has to do with poverty, with income. It's the biggest violence that I see that on our children. A feeling for the parents and the children of shame, for guilt that they can't provide for themselves. We all make choices, and sometimes we have resource or a safety net that helps us get through those choices, and sometimes we don't.
You know, when people ask me to describe a homeless family, I just say it's just a family. So, yeah.
And it's just a connection, a place to belong. I feel sometimes that's all St. Joe's can be for families after 30 days, you know. People say, can they find housing in 30 days? And people come in saying, can we get somewhere to go in 30 days? In actuality, maybe, probably not, but we're not going anywhere. And so just hang in there, and we'll hang in there.